DFS Show with John Impemba and James Grande.
What is going on, FA Nation? John Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS Playbook Preview Show. We're looking at the Monday 10-game main slate over on DraftKings. 7:30 roster lock time here for this 10-gamer. So, you got a couple, got the extra half an hour than we're used to on the typical slate. Ends at 8:30 for this slate. So you'll have a lot, 10 games cram-packed into an hour. Is kind of an interesting slate that we'll be looking at here, Grande.
Yeah, and then FanDuel's going to have the late game. The late games, I'm sure. So that's going to be.
I just looked.
Fun. They do not. Wonderful. That's wonderful. Yeah, fun slate. Some awful teams on back-to-backs. There are 3 teams of note that we need to start monitoring. They're all here. Philly, Utah, Toronto. Need to take more note of those teams moving forward. Utah has been a nightmare for a while. We'll see who plays second leg of a back-to-back. Philly announced that Kelly Oubre and Gershon Yabusele would start seeing reduced minutes. I assume that extends out to like Drummond and any veteran, which those are the only like real veterans on their team, only like guys that are fighting for roster spots. So that team is going to be a nightmare moving forward. And Toronto has been a nightmare. Besides the fact everyone's out, even when people are in, they're not really closing games with their starters. They are limiting a lot of their stars' minutes. So keep track. This is the keep track season moving forward on who's going to start doing this type of tank where it's like, I'm playing my guys enough minutes to where it doesn't look, I'm not tanking. Look, I played Scotty Barnes 28 minutes last night. It's like, yeah, well, Scotty Barnes averages 34 minutes a game. So what happened to the other 6 down the stretch? So definitely something that we're going to have to keep monitoring. Teams that are not in the playoff mix could be doing a lot more of that moving forward. So just keep that in mind as we go slate to slate.
We did just get some breaking news here that is going to impact this slate with the Houston Rockets. Amen Thompson going to miss the next 10 to 14 days with his injury there. The MRI showed no structural damage, but going to miss at least up to the next 2 weeks for Houston. Houston at home against Orlando. Taking out one of their top players here. Probably see Jabari move back into the starting lineup, or something like that.
Van Vliet is questionable for this slate. So I would assume it would probably be FVV.
Sure. Okay. FVV then re-entering to Tari Eason, obviously there, just kind of keeping in his role there. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, but that's obviously big news. Obviously, Los Angeles Lakers. LeBron James going to miss the next couple of weeks with his groin. Luka Doncic, who was supposedly being hobbled by the back during that Celtics game. We'll see, I guess, what happens here against Brooklyn in that matchup. Again, another slate where there's just a lot of injury news that we're going to have to kind of pay attention to. 7:30 roster lock. The last game's at 8:30. We should at least get a lot of this news before lock, hopefully. Or right around it, so maybe we won't be left too far in the dark. But a lot of questionables. Grande's on your playbook. He'll make sure he has it all covered and updated for you there. But let's just get into point guard. Luka's $12K, SGA $11,000, Trae Young $97, LaMelo at $9,400, and you got Booker at $91.
Yeah, there was definitely something going on with Luka's back the other day. He said he hurt it in the Knicks game. No LeBron. We'll see if he plays. But he was clearly like walking, hobbling, barely getting back on some of those possessions late. So we'll see. But if he plays, obviously no LeBron, Luka against anybody is a treat. 12K is appropriately priced. SGA, second leg of a back-to-back, looked great in this game. Had 20 at half, finished with 40 actual. Couldn't make any of his threes. Just was, the best player on the floor in this game. It was a really fun first half. It was really fun for most of the game, and then it got out of hand in the fourth. But definitely fine getting to SGA. We'll see how their injury report looks. We saw their injury report swell last week on a back-to-back. So we'll see. Definitely in on SGA. Trey with a new injury because he's been dealing with I think the calf, right? The Achilles all year. And now it's a quad that he left and then returned to return in the Indiana game that he went crazy in. If he plays, obviously it's a great spot. If he doesn't, there's obviously a lot to like about Atlanta, without their best player. So I like Trey. LaMelo fouled out in 23 minutes and had one of those oh, right. He does that from time to time games. It's not the best spot, but in the games prior that he played full complement of minutes, 36, 34, still took a bunch of shots, still was good peripherally. So I'd be good with LaMelo Ball if you can, guarantee me he's going to stay out of foul trouble. And then I think Book's fine. Phoenix looks fine.
I was all in on Booker for that Denver matchup. Obviously, he got the 44 minutes and just the peak everything out of him there, but he got the 56 fantasy points. We'll see what happens with Memphis. Right now, they're on a back-to-back. That could be a team to look at. Maybe some guys come back that didn't play, or Ja maybe sits because he's been dealing with who knows what, even though he's looked great since that report came out, right? The
shoulder injury. Well, it's hard to tell, right? Like you said, he's looked good, but also he had shoulder surgery last year. So is it ever healed properly? I don't have any idea, but it is a good shout.
Just to give context to the Luka thing, by the way, obviously a small sample size, 109 minutes with Luka on, LeBron off, 48.2% usage rate. 1.94 fantasy points per minute for Luka on the floor with the Lakers without LeBron James. So
well,
those are numbers.
Those are numbers on a page for sure. Those are numbers on a page. All
right, Fox is the next tier down at $8,900. Hero Halliburton, we'll see. Obviously, Halliburton sat out the other day. It's a great matchup against Chicago. Went for 49 against them. We'll see if that hip is good enough. Otherwise, we'll have some value to play in Indy again. The aforementioned John Moran, again, he had 30 actual tonight in that matchup. Him and Desmond Bain went off against the Pelicans. Josh Giddey. Too cheap. Too cheap right now, man.
Yeah, I tweeted a couple weeks ago. I was like, if there's anything to take home from this season, please let Matas Buzelis and Josh Giddey just play all the minutes. We've gotten one of those things, and Giddey has rewarded in spade. Now, the 3-point shooting had fallen off for a couple days, which we figured there's no way Josh Giddey's going to keep making threes at this insane rate. But he's just been super elite peripherally. And honestly, the scoring is better than anyone could have anticipated. This scoring stretch that he has been on is the best stretch he's ever had in the NBA, at the NBA level. Undoubtedly. It's just been he's just been really good. And they are going to be without Lonzo Ball here again. I believe Vooch is possibly returning here. So there could be Nikola Vucevic back. But from what we've seen, there's nothing suggesting Josh Giddey's going to even come off the floor. At least we know for that fact, no Lonzo is going to help that. So it's really hard to even if Halliburton plays, anyone in this tier, I'd almost stack Giddey up against and say he's probably
since the All-Star break, since the return of the All-Star break, Josh Giddey 26.1% usage rate, 1.57 fantasy points per minute since the All-Star break. Feels like that's playing out, right?
Really
the way those numbers look. So
yeah.
Halliburton and Giddey in this mid tier, obviously pretty elite. Under 8K, if there's no LeBron, you do have Reeves here, $7,500. Jordan Poole had a Jordan Poole game the other day. He gets Toronto, as you mentioned. You got Daniels here. Got the Celtics. Tatum questionable. I think was Brown also questionable. Zinger
is doubtful, and Horford is questionable.
Let's see if the Celtics play on Tuesday. Celtics do not play Tuesday, so we'll see what happens there. But Tatum Q could sit here against Utah. Never know. But obviously you have those guards. What are our thoughts in this like 7 and 6K range?
Reeves for sure, is going to play the minutes, is definitely fine. Jordan Poole has a ceiling. Dyson Daniels becomes incredibly interesting if there's no Trey. I think, we've played him anyway, but I would say there's obviously a better
5 steal
ceiling.
5
if
steal.
There's no Trey Young. Yeah, I mean, he's just not even how is it? I know defense isn't just like, oh, he got steals and he's got blocks, but like he is also an elite on-ball defender, also elite defender just in general, and is like 3x the field in steals and blocks total this year. It's just insane. But like Daniels, we'll see about Utah stuff. I mean, you could play Keontae or Collier depending on who's in and who's out. Derek White, like I not like too fond of getting to White if Tatum is in. Like he took 7 shots in a game that both Tatum and Brown play, and I don't know what the competitive vibe of this game against Utah is. The one Celtic I'd probably gravitate to is Peyton Pritchard here. This is the Peyton Pritchard game for sure. Quickly 65, like I messaged you the other day, that slate where you needed 380 points to just min cash, and 50% of the field played Emmanuel Quickly. He played 29 minutes, and it's a great spot again. I'm like really going to be on the fence about stuff like this for the rest of the year, because on one hand, it's like Emmanuel Quickly can get there in 30 minutes. He can smash at this price. But on nights where he only plays 26 minutes or 28 minutes, is it worth going there? Like, I know the spot is great and whatnot, but man, it's going to be a frustrating roster just in general with Toronto for the remainder of the year until guys actually get shut down. Stephon Castle, the minutes have stabilized 26 plus in 5 straight games. The scoring has been awesome for Castle. I mean, 22 plus points in 5 of 6 games. Fouled out of the Sacramento game. I think that the Spurs played
right now. Yeah, they're down 22,
Sunday.
But Castle in 27 minutes off the bench has 27, 4, and 1. So
6 of 6 games of 17 plus actual points, 6 straight games of 30 plus fantasy points. The minutes have been 26 or more. So there's really just nothing bad to say about him. Plus, you never know who the Spurs, like if they give Chris Paul a day off, like second leg, you never know. Harrison Barnes, like you never know what they're going to do with their veterans. So Castle, Nembhard has been awesome without Halliburton the last 2 games. And I think TJ McConnell, questionable. McConnell left after 0 minutes. It was like one of the chalkier plays of the slate over the weekend. Thank you for TJ McConnell. Thank you for your service. For me personally, thank you for your service. Don't want to see anyone get injured, but obviously like that
helped you.
It helped me. You'd gravitate to Nembhard like so much. Like he would be, again, he'd be like 100% owned. played 31 minutes, had double-double, and he would have played more, but he was in massive foul trouble in the first half, or second half, rather. So, yeah, Nembhard, 57, Pritchard, love those plays right there.
Value tier. Where are we looking to go here? You mentioned, Trey Jones and playing a lot of minutes. Lonzo, you think still going to be out of the lineup? $4,800 for him there. I would wonder if Drew Holiday actually plays this game or not. Like, they just had him come back. He immediately played 35 minutes after missing, a week plus. They don't need him for this game, right? Like, they don't need him versus Utah. So I wonder if Drew Holiday plays or not in this game. Where else would you look to go? I get you. Obviously, Quickly should be back for this one, so Shed won't be there. All the Dallas Brandon Williams got hurt today. Didn't come back in that game. I guess we'll see if he actually plays. If he is active, we'd probably go Brandon Williams again, right?
So he'd have to start, and I'll explain why. He is a two-way contract player. He has 8 games remaining on his two-way deal. He cannot be signed to a full contract until April. It's like a full month. And it's not games you play in. It's active games. So Brandon Williams is sitting this game. He left. He's going to be sitting probably for the next few games. Because this actually helps him.
Saves his contract.
This helps saves his games. Yeah, his games played. Like, if he's available to play, that counts. And he has 8 remaining. So I'm assuming he's not. I'm under the assumption he's not going to play. If he's starting, because they're also, you got to think, they got to stretch it out 8 games until April. If he's not starting after starting today, I think there's always going to be DNP risk. Just trying to spread the games out to get them to. They only have 10 active bodies, so, and they can't sign anybody, so they're they got to.
Well, then if he gets out, I mean, Dinwiddie's 56. Like they have to play somebody, right? Exum.
Yeah, Dinwiddie. Exum on a back-to-back. They're gonna play Dante Exum too. I mean, if Williams plays, obviously he's an option.
Are you not touching Philadelphia after what they did today? Like, Butler got to 28 minutes, I think it was, off the bench.
Yeah, I'd be I'm almost more confident in that stuff than I am the starters, because when you look at what Nurse said, he was talking about the veteran players. If we're full tank, we need to save that top 6 protected pick. Then at Adem Bona 32 minutes, Jared Butler 29, Lonnie Walker 34, Ricky Council 21, Justin Edwards 29. I probably is it going to shock you when they rule Drummond and and Oubre out and Yabusele out, second leg of a back-to-back, and all those guys are just starting, and we have to play 4 Sixers on this slate because, one, it's a good matchup and they're all so cheap.
No, I agree.
Jared Butler, you said it, in 15-9 assists, 1 steal, 1 block.
I thought the
guy's good fantasy.
The more interesting update today was the one we got also during the stretch of people are going to be limited. It was Kyle Lowry's closer to returning. I was they're going to play Kyle Lowry now in tank season. That's what they're doing. All right, so that's your point guards again. Grande will have the full playbook for you. Big 10 games.
D'Lo 54 is someone that we didn't talk about. He played 29 minutes last game. I would play him in tournaments. AJ Lawson, 35 if he starts. I've tortured myself with him twice in a row.
You had a good day and a bad day with him, right? So
I had a really bad day and a really good day. Both of him.
Nothing to do with it.
Besides him, nothing to do with him. He was, but 24 shots in those 2 games, 16 threes. If he starts, I don't hate the thought of getting there. And then if Van Vliet sits, the Rockets could, in theory, start Aaron Holiday at 3,400.
Okay.
Not saying you have to go there, but in theory, he is a person
He'll
that
wear
plays
a jersey.
basketball.
with his name on the back.
He will be actively.
And the Rockets' name on the front. So, what do you think?
We think.
All right. Shooting guard, a lot of these guys we've talked about. Jaylen Brown to be the quickest pick ever if Jason Tatum sits out. Jaylen Brown, 8,300 versus Utah.
Yeah.
I know that last time it didn't work.
Oh,
I
man. No. But this is nothing to do with last time. Portland and Utah are two different teams. Portland has an outside chance at a play-in. Utah just might not show up to the game. Like, they might not actually physically play player. Like, I don't know who they're – like, if Jaylen Brown is up against 5 Johnny Juice eggs, how competitive is this game? You're not wrong. I'm not saying you're like wrong.
The Portland game only got out of hand because Derek White and Peyton Pritchard both scored 40 actual in that game. What if that was Jaylen Brown?
It's true.
He'll be super chalky if Tatum gets ruled out, though.
He will be.
Desmond Bane on a back-to-back. Desmond Bane went for 60 again tonight. 3 of the last 4. Did he actually get to 60? Or was it close? 57. So we have 66, 68, and 57 fantasy points in 3 of the last 4 for Desmond Bane. And there's an outside chance that maybe Ja Morant sits this back-to-back.
He's really good.
Just couldn't get us the double-double or triple-double tonight. So close. Couldn't get there.
Yeah. He's an easy click for me. Easy click. Easy. One of the easier clicks. I mean, Phoenix, bottom 5 defense. There's the Ja injury that he's playing through. There's the Jaren Jackson and Santi Aldama absence. Luke Kennard didn't play tonight. If it's like status quo, easiest click of the day.
You mentioned funny things happening with Toronto. RJ played 28 minutes in that game. It was really good.
He's great. He's great. You know what? You know why I clicked him in that slate? Because he didn't play the night before. So I was like, he's gonna get the 30 minutes. He's really cheap. Yeah. He didn't. It didn't matter. But it's gonna be a crapshoot night tonight. Just like who goes off for the Raptors. And
if Van Vliet sits and there's obviously no Amen Thompson already, does Jalen Green become like the guy? I know it's Orlando. I get it.
We want Jalen. He
definitely can be. We've seen it.
He can be. In this, like, he can be. I'm gonna
pull up the add more funds right now. Let's just see. Now this could be one of those games on 10-game slate where you cross it off because it's like a 219 total or whatever. But
I mean, you're also not incorrect when you're speaking about players that could and couldn't or may or may not be out. Like if he's not out,
Van Vliet, and Amen. All right, Van Vliet and Amen Thompson off. Jalen Green on the floor this year, 31% usage rate, only a 1.09 fantasy points per minute, but nobody really jumps off the page in that situation either. Him and Şengün have the lead at 1.09 with Van Vliet and Thompson off the floor. He does have the highest minute sample there, 203 minutes with those guys. With the 30% usage rates, what we're looking for. So pretty well. We'll see. Jalen Green's there. A lot of these guys we've touched on. Quentin Grimes did get more run than Kelly Oubre, but I'm not going to touch that one there. Beal 64, Todd Castle. Aaron Gordon got hurt today again.
He did.
Yeah.
And it was the calf again.
Big minutes likely for Christian Brown, Russell Westbrook, and crew here in this one.
Yeah, we didn't mention Westbrook. He started the second half in that game. I assume they're just going to do it again. I guess they could go to Zeke Naji and do because I guess we'll see what OKC does. We don't know if Chet's going to play second leg of a back-to-back, but if they go double big, Naji could start and Westbrook comes off the bench. But if Westbrook's starting, I like him. We know Christian Brown's really
not a good game for Westbrook. 1 of 9 shooting, but did get 31 minutes and had 11 rebounds still because that's He goes there.
Yeah, he's a monster on the glass.
So
Yeah,
we'll see.
monster.
We'll see what happens. There. Brown, obviously 61. You have Vassell, Clay, Koulibaly in this mid range, but then the guys that kind of touched on already with Nembard and Pritchard in this spot. Anything here to highlight that we haven't talked about yet?
The only thing I'd mention is the last back-to-back Klay Thompson played was January 14th and 15th. So I don't know how many active bodies they will have, but it's potentially a rest game for Klay. He's been good. He's been really good. So if you want to get to Klay, he's been good. Anything else that Cam Thomas is out, by the way, as well. So if we want to, for the D'Lo,
Sure.
the D'Lo stuff. I don't love. I mean, if Klay doesn't play, then like Christie might not sit. I don't love the Duncan Robinson's been
Levert's
shooting
in a good spot at 54.
Do the Lakers start Dalton? Yeah, love LeVert, and if Trey doesn't play, they start LeVert for sure. Dalton Connect definitely live to potentially start this game without LeBron. I don't know if they do. I don't know if they don't. But
I was gonna say, I wonder what are they getting anybody else back? Like Hachimura and Hayes were out. They're already ruled out for this game. Hayes is in, but Finney Smith's out too for this game.
Finney Smith is out for this game too. Is he scared of return to Brooklyn? No. So they'll start Reeves, Luka, Vandy, Vincent, and probably either Hayes or Hayes if he plays, or Connect if he doesn't. Probably they may go like Trey Jemison, who's been playing like their backup five. I don't know.
We just got another 76ers update. Nick Nurse says that Tyrese Maxey is now questionable to play tomorrow. So they're tanking, but they're going to play Maxey now. They're going to bring Maxey back. Like,
well, I assume it's probably going to be like the probably like the limitation,
I would have
right?
to assume so as well.
Stuff.
But like you're tanking, just tank. Right.
If Maxey plays, it's going to be really
Butler
hard
and all
to
those
get
guys
to,
we wanted to play.
Much else. Yeah, it might just be like an avoid situation in general. What else is down here? Keon Johnson's probably going to play a bunch of minutes without Cam Thomas.
Yeah.
It's fine. Vince Williams started but he also I don't think has played a back-to-back yet. So Vince Williams is live to sit here, John. Maybe they sit Williams and start Kennard type thing, or sit Williams and Kennard comes back, or sit Williams Santi comes back. So I guess TBD on the Memphis stuff. Lonnie Walker was like uber chalk
still playing a bunch of minutes
the day. Curtis still playing a bunch of minutes.
Yeah, Lonnie Walker would be an easy plug for sure. I actually thought he would be more rostered. He's only 33% or something like that today.
I saw him at 50. I saw him at 50.
And the 5 single, he was only 33.
50. Let's see. He's 42 in the 55. So he was in all the winning lineups.
Yeah, he went for 50 fantasy points. He had 3,400. So.
Yeah, he went for
more than 12, 13x. I don't know, quick math, 14x, I guess.
He just had a zillion.
I mean, listen, Lonnie Walker's a good player. Most people were like, "Why is Lonnie Walker not on an NBA roster? What's going on here?" So, all right, let's go small forward. Small forward, we'll see on Tatum there. Durant 94, Wagner 86, Jalen Williams 85. There's Scotty Barnes, but he's had some minutes, questions. That's about it for guys we haven't talked about. Durant, Wagner, Williams.
Yeah, Durant's fine at 94. It's a really good paced game. but 94 is fine. Wagner is just, I mean, this game just stinks. Franz is also kind of stunk per minute. His price hasn't gone down. Hasn't really given us
Nope,
a
he's just been good.
ceiling since before the All-Star break. They're just terrible right now. Like, they're a bad team who can't get out of their own way, and 86 is just not a great price. J-Dub was really good in the second half of this game. He was like invisible in the first half and then just took over the second half of this game. If there's no Chet, 8,500, I'd be willing to go right back to the well, knowing that the minutes will be there.
Mid-tier, Najee Marshall broke the slate the other day, as you mentioned. And today. 66.58 the last.
Well, he was in the main slate. Yeah, he was in the main slate, but Najee Marshall almost triple-doubled with 34 points. It's just insane. He is going to be really popular, and because he's not coming off the floor. He's now played 40 minutes in back-to-back games because they just physically don't have enough bodies to do it. I do want to circle back in front of Najee to Kobe White as well. If Vooch is out, Kobe White's been a dog lately. He was bad against Miami. Okay, that's Miami. 58, 47, 38, 41 fantasy points in the 4 games prior. He's been really good for the Bulls with all these injuries that they've suffered. So I would throw Kobe White into that, into the Najee Marshall tier as well.
Again, a lot of these other guys we've discussed. You got Michael Porter Jr., Cam Johnson's $5,900. You mentioned no Cam Thomas in this game.
I like both those names, Porter and
Middleton.
Johnson.
Would you give Koulibaly a look here? He's been really good last game.
He's been really good last game. He's been below Koulibaly. He has a ceiling and he has a 0-point floor.
Yeah, I guess it depends on who's in or out, right? Like, he has more opportunities when guys are out than in. So,
no, it's not about. I mean, sometimes it's not even about opportunity. He just
this guy
doesn't do things. I talk about opportunity. I was so close to clicking him at 1% the other day.
It's not fair what he does.
I didn't, and it was fine. He is just so crazy per minute. I would say the best case for Mathurin is Halliburton and McConnell out. Because then I don't know what the minutes look like.
No, I agree. That's what I'm saying. Like, if guys are out, then Mathurin all of a sudden just doesn't come off the floor, I guess. So.
Yeah.
8 of 10 free throw attempts, everything that we've seen him be and can be, but rarely actually ends up being. So, same thing with Neesmith. Minutes are always going to be there. The scoring's coming around. Double-digit shot attempts in 4 straight games is great. Starting to get some of the defensive stats as well.
Yep.
So you have that there. Ricochet's 45. Yeah, no.
Minutes have fallen off
43. Justin Edwards, 42. I guess Hoarder's in that range as well.
Yeah, both those guys. If the Lakers were to start Jordan Goodwin, he was playing really well before he sprained his ankle. Was in their rotation. If they started Jordan Goodwin, I would take a look there. The Raptors are giving Jamison Battle a bunch of minutes, $3,300, 21 and 23 minutes. All he does is shoot threes and rebound. So he would be in play.
Yeah. Anything else? Power forward. Again, Tatum's here. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Do you think this game is anything? And then Tatum's in play, I guess. But, a guy that went for 87 and 76 in 2 of the last 4 always has to have at least a mention. Bam versus Charlotte. Feels like that could be a good spot here.
Yeah. We saw the price with Hero back is too expensive. I get it. I just think Bam sans Hero versus Bam with Hero, and Andrew Wiggins was back in that game, and then like everything kind of fell off the cliff. And Khalil Ware was in that game, and he only has 6 rebounds. I don't think like any of that is like
The shot attempts
necessarily
weren't like too
he's
far
still
off. He just
fine.
hit less shots, right? So
Hit less, but then they get healthier, and like all the stuff that we were like, yes, Bam, we knew you could do it. Now it's all gone. It's like, no,
yeah,
Bam.
I guess I don't know. The minutes are
Go?
still there. It's still the Charlotte Hornets versus a big, so they're just like. But I get you. I hear you. That's fine. Miles Bridges.
Oh, dude, this guy is.
What was it? Nick Smith that said that he thinks Miles Bridges is actually the best player on the team.
I mean, LaMelo's just having fun out there, dude. He's having fun. I don't know. I don't know. He's been great since the All-Star break. He's been great.
Okay.
So, if you want to play him and he keeps it up, good for you.
All right.
You'll have him at low ownership. Because in this range, if there's no Halliburton, everyone's going to play Siakam. He has been super mega chalk.
He also just got fined for confronting officials.
For yelling. Yeah, yelling. He also took a layup with like 0.3 seconds down 3. So whose fault is it really? It's Pascal Siakam's fault.
Okay.
Yeah.
8,200 for Siakam. Yeah. That's fine. You have Chet at 73. Everybody else is out around him. So it's him. Is PJ Washington coming back? PJ?
My guess, Chet wouldn't play in the back-to-back, but
okay. I only wonder because it's Denver, right? Like, played 26 minutes, so they didn't really like load him up on minutes in that front end.
Yeah, he had 3 fouls in like 6 minutes in the first half. He should have fouled out. He got lucky. He punched Westbrook in the face on accident, and it was like a open hand smack, but he got him good, and the ref like right in front of him, just no call. I was like, oh. That seemed like it probably should have been a foul, but it wasn't. And then they got 2 points out of it. And
okay. Yeah. All right. Well, then tell me next. Who's the next guy? Again, a lot of these guys have dual position. Is it like Tyree Eason, Jabari Smith, 2 guys on the same team? Like, what do we think we do next at power forward here?
Houston's fine. Keyshawn George, 53. He's fine. Buzelis 5K. The minutes were fine the last few games. The production's been
it's a better spot.
But better spot. Dylan Brooks broke the slate the other day. Dylan Brooks does that every once in a while where everyone plays one guy and like Tari Eason was 50% owned.
Yeah, Dylan Brooks goes and hit not. 7 threes.
Dylan Brooks had all the numbers. So like you could play Dylan Brooks 46. I think that's fine. Vanderbilt. Look, all we needed to see was the minutes. He played 30 minutes in this game. If there's no Jackson Hayes, and even possibly if Jackson Hayes plays, like there's a real possibility with no Finney Smith, no LeBron, that they're just playing Vandy this because they want the length. So I could talk myself into some $4,500 Jared Vanderbilt. I don't think it's a lock by any means, but I could talk myself into it. Just like I can talk myself into going back to Brandon Clark, despite him absolutely crapping the bed and letting me and like almost 30% of the field down. He had 2 fouls in 2 minutes. Then he picked up his 3rd foul a minute into his next shift. And it was so bad that they, after taking Edey off the floor in the 3rd quarter, they put Jay Huff in the game. That's where we were with Brandon Clark. But if there's no like Santi Aldama again, and we know there's no Jaren Jackson, then I would for sure go back to Clark. He had been so good the games prior, and he's still extremely cheap. So like Clark is a guy that stands out to me. Dallas is going to keep playing Kessler Edwards or all the minutes in the world because they have no option or ability to not play Kessler Edwards all the minutes. And as unappealing as that sounds, that's the world that we kind of live in right now, where Kessler Edwards is just kind of like, hey guys, might have to play me. Yeah. They don't have any other options. Yeah, that would be another one
Okay.
that I would take a look at.
Yeah, the Vanderbilt thing, as soon as they announced him as a starter, I had ran to DraftKings Sportsbook and hit the over 5.5 rebounds. I was like, this is a guy that was averaging like 13.5 rebound chances a game when he was playing 20 minutes over the 3 previous games. So I was like, that was an
Right.
easy hit on the 5.5. So I'm very eager to see what the rebound prop would be here against Brooklyn. All right, centers. Joker is up to 12-9. You've asked for it a few times because he went for 100. I texted you immediately. I was like, please tell me you play Nikola Jokic on the slate, because this was a slate where I think SGA was like appealing. And we were like, ooh, this might be a slate where you just play SGA instead. And you were like, of course I played him. It's like, I could.
No, it was the Sacramento one with SGA. Jokic was like 50% in, 50% on the Friday slate. That was the chalk 380 point to cash slate. SGA, I don't think that was the same slate. I think that was the
Friday
Sacramento one.
Friday slate was Denver, Phoenix, SGA versus Portland. I think that's what we were talking about.
No, I think no.
He didn't play that game. You're right. All right, maybe you're right. Maybe I have all my days mixed up.
It was the Sacramento. It was 3-5. It was Sacramento because they doubled Jokic every time down the floor. And the Portland lost outright to Aaron Wiggins, Ousmane Dieng, Isaiah Joe. Jalen Williams with the Y had the triple-double in that game.
I'm wrong. Go ahead.
I'm going to say this. Jokic, and I don't know if this was a broadcast thing and they were trying to sell something. Jokic fell on his elbow today during the game and was like kind of shaking it. And if you remember earlier in the year, he got hurt and he like missed a couple games and he had that sleeve when he came back on his elbow. I wonder if he shows up on the injury report here. I don't know if he does or doesn't, but it would just be something to monitor. If he were to show up on the injury report, it wouldn't surprise me because that would shift the slate drastically. I do think that he did not play well in this game. I think there's a realistic expectation that he plays much better tomorrow. If he plays through this elbow thing, he shot 43% from 3 this year. He shot 2 of 10 from 3. He is a 57% shooter from the floor. He shot 43%. I feel like we can expect better from Jokic. So if he plays, it's obviously 12-9s. We're finally at a point where you really do have to like legitimately think this through. But I do think it's something that if you end on Jokic and like the build, then I play him every slate. So I'm not going to ever be the first person to tell you no. And you text me that. I was like, John doesn't know me at all. We do the show every day.
There was a reason
I play him every
we looked
slate.
at Jokic that day and was like, I don't know. Like there's a different play. But
no, that was the
game, I guess.
There was Nurkic, the Phoenix slate. There was like the center value. It was like Nurkic was starting in Charlotte, no Mark Williams. They had Orlando Robinson starting in Toronto, and there was
because we did a double center value build. I think is why maybe that's why it threw me off here. But
yes, and then right after that I was like, but I'm just saying like I am personally playing Jokic tonight, but I just wanted to see what the value build was.
Maybe that's why I'm misremembering.
I think it was like
either way, you did have him in your lineup.
It was Jalen Williams ended up opening up and being the center value. Yeah, triple doubling. So that was the third center.
Oh, by the way, we've done this whole show, by the way. Congratulations to you winning yet another tournament. You're welcome.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, it's, for those that follow us, join the Discord, join the Fantasy Alarm family. get the 7-day free trial and try us out. You'll get our content. I use the tools. I use our content. I write my own content from time to time too. So like, thank you. I appreciate it. Definitely been a good year. Couldn't do it. I said it to you. The consistency has been the key of it all. As my Siri turns on and is listening to me, the consistency has been the key. And I wouldn't be as consistent, and I don't think either of us would be as consistent if we weren't, we didn't have the constant viewership and audience.
I went back and
looked
at your screenshots in the Winner's Circle channel. You're basically averaging a takedown like every 2 weeks.
It's been good since the new year. Yeah. Since the new year, it's been like I had a couple before the new year, but since the new year, it's been really like. I think I have 6 nights of takedowns, not including just like first, and I have like 4 of them since.
I said it's almost like every 2 weeks you have one night where you outright win a slate. So
it's been good. I think it's the playoff beard. I've never been able to grow a beard before, and now I still can't really grow a beard, but like there's something going on.
What's crazy to me is that some people think you talk too much on this show, and I'm just here to let you talk and spread your knowledge. So
sorry to all those that do think I talk so much, and if I ever am talking too much, like check me in the chat.
You're the one that has to do W-2s for DraftKings over here, so like I'm just gonna keep feeding you the questions and let you answer them.
It's been a good year, John, and I couldn't do it without the squad here and all that we got going on here.
Back to what we're talking about, because we're in the middle of the center position. So where do you want to go if we're not going the Joker here?
So I do think we're going to see Walker Kessler probably return. He has been the one Jazz that's been at least consistent.
He had an okay day.
Now look, that is an out-of-body experience, what we're looking at. That is whatever it is.
The stars aligned on this 3-7 slate. Everybody went nuclear.
Dude, 380 points cash line. Just sniff it. Walker Kessler was probably the 17th highest rushed center of that day too. Like he wasn't even in the stratosphere of centers. Look, it's going to probably be a blowout, so you're probably going to get the 28 minutes, but he had 18 rebounds at half against the Raptors. So if there's no Porzingis, if there's no Porzingis, no Al Horford, and it's Luke Cornett and Neemias Queta, no disrespect to those fellows, but I think Walker Kessler can also have another monster half on the glass.
Yeah.
So in tournaments only, large field stuff only. Hartenstein, if there's no Chet, 7K. Hartenstein played 31 minutes with Chet in the game. That was the most minutes he's played in a while. I don't think that would change if Chet doesn't play because they need the big body on him. So I think Hartenstein 7K is good. John, there's gonna be not many slates the rest of the year where Onyeka Okongwu under 7K isn't just just click and move on. Yeah. He is not a high usage player at all. He is so good everywhere, though. He is just so good everywhere. The Hawks have so many so good everywhere guys, don't they? The Hawks are my favorite team. I don't know what's going on. They're just my favorite team.
They're not good.
Well, when Jalen Johnson's there, they're really fun.
Sure.
We didn't even get the Jalen Johnson-Okongwu experience together in the starting lineup. Next year, we're going to get that with Dyson Daniels.
They have to trade Clint Capella, right?
Even if they don't, though,
Sure. They've officially just decided to move on as an organization here.
Yeah, the mantle is Oni's court, and he's just too good everywhere.
Well, we've only been yelling that for 3 years.
For 3 years.
I'm glad they finally listened to us.
Yeah.
So he's awesome. Miles Turner,
a
guy in tournaments I think is just always live. If you take Halliburton out of the lineup, I understand the last couple of games haven't been great for him. I don't know. Chicago like high scoring pace up game, like could be a spot again for Turner to maybe have a ceiling here.
Yeah, for sure. Safe and also with the ceiling. And if Vooch doesn't play, we're going back to the Zach Collins well at 61 as well.
Yeah.
This dude.
Another just like end of season, but we're not like at the end of the NBA season yet, but we're close. We're like Zach Collins is a 40+ fantasy point a night guy.
Both the Bulls are
I know
going to be in the play-in because there's now like officially nobody that can catch them. Brooklyn's lost like 8 in a row. Philly's doing what Philly's doing. I mean,
trying to tank, like
the Bulls are 3.5 games behind the Magic for the 8th seed. So they're going to just keep playing. If Vooch doesn't play, load up some Zach Collins for sure.
Okay. Where are we going next?
Alex Sarr. I mean, Rashawn Holmes was really good in this game too. Rashawn Holmes had like a doubled
in this game too.
But Sarr, dude, 16 shot. The shot volume has been great for Alex Sarr lately, and the peripheral stats have. That's kind of what his thing was, right? Like has kind of been where he's been pretty good. Defensive stats have been really good, and then the peripheral stats have been really good. The assists are up, the rebounds have pretty much been there. So I like Sarr 56 in this matchup.
Claxton versus a Lakers team that could be just Vanderbilt, right? Like
just Vanderbilt, yeah. And Trey Jemison, ooh, that's a scary one. So yeah, like both those guys. If Horford, I mean, talk about another out-of-body experience. Al Horford against the Lakers I know Tatum was statistically the best player on the floor. This dude was like the key to this game because they switched on him like every time down the floor, and they could build a highlight reel of Al Horford defensive switches that just ended in he basically like Lou Dort torture chamber style.
Dude,
of like,
Luka Doncic could not get away from Al Horford if he tried.
No, it was crazy. It was crazy. And the Reddit quote after the game was like, "Yeah, we wanted to attack matchups, but we found out Al Horford's really freaking good still." So, yeah.
They tried switching on Sam Hauser a few times, and like LeBron couldn't score. Right?
Yeah, they did. Look, Horford's obviously coming off like 3 probably of his better games of the year.
I mean, this is what makes the Celtics different. They talk about it like all the time, right? It's like they actually literally said it in the game. They're like, the Lakers lose their starting center, and they have to go to this. It's like the Celtics don't have their starting center, and 39-year-old, 18-year vet Al Horford is out here locking up Luka Doncic.
Freshest player on the court. Dude, he didn't have to play any minutes in the first half.
Yeah.
And now he's like, hey, guys, by the way, feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good right now.
Insane.
Yeah. Would you play him if he plays? If no zinger?
I mean, maybe, but like, again, if this game gets out of hand, he is the first one to sit.
Yeah.
Like Al's not coming back in the second half if this game's a 30-pointer, right? Like,
no, he's not.
So I don't know. I'd be more willing to, and I wouldn't even, but like, throw a dart at like Luke Cornett or something like that. And I don't even know. I don't even think they'd play Horford in this game.
Might just get Cornett regardless.
Yeah, right. I don't even think you'd get that. They started Biyombo, but he didn't play a lot of minutes.
I'm assuming we get the Orlando Robinson start again.
Yeah.
No Jakob Poeltl. He's 37. So what they'll probably do, because there's actually probably, so the starter will be Robinson, and he'll split time with Colin Castleton, who is $3,600. He has played 26 and 23 minutes, signed off the street, but this is what they're doing, right? This is literally just what they're doing. We are in hell with the Raptors. The Raptors are putting us in this nightmare situation that we have to talk ourselves into. How about Adem Bona, John? Adem Bona played 32 minutes for the 76ers. Drummond went into that game questionable, then didn't start the second half.
Playing 11 minutes.
And Dembona played all the minutes off the bench. Had 14. He had 7 offensive rebounds in this game. 32 minutes, 14. He had 5 blocks and 2 steals. Do you know who the only player in NBA history to block LeBron James Sr. and LeBron James Jr. is, John?
Yeah, so Adem Bona.
Adem Bona. Yeah, in the same game, blocked them both. And just coming off 14, and 5 blocks. If that dude is in our lives, Nick Nurse told us. He told us. He was like, here, guys, this is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to play that guy. I'm not going to play that guy. All these guys I'm going to play so we keep our top protected pick. So if Adem Bona is at 3,400 in the lineup, probably has to be somewhat of a consideration here. Yeah,
I would agree with you. All right, let's build a lineup then. If you got nobody else for us,
no.
Okay,
that's it.
What's our center play here? Is it Oni? Is it Bona? What do we think we're doing?
Nikola Jokic. I don't know. Nikola Jokic. I don't know who we're gonna play at center.
What's your number one? What's our number one plug for this example lineup here?
Nikola Jokic. I don't know if there's any good plays at center that we could possibly play Nikola Jokic. I'm not sure.
You want to?
No, we don't have to. No, we don't have to. Okay. We don't have to. It's fine.
All right, $5,300 is what we got left with Joker.
Luka might be the better play.
Dude, 1.93 fantasy points per minute, 40% usage rate.
Like, he looks good. Like, he physically looks better. Other than now he's dealing with a back injury, but Nico Harrison's hoping he falls off a cliff. This back injury becomes like chronic back pain. Nico Harrison praying to his Anthony Davis shrine in his closet.
Pretty much.
You have Levert. I mean, there's a lot of value.
I know. I'm just I'm plugging in value pieces that I know are just around our guys here. So,
like all the Philly stuff, like all the Philly value. I know, like Adem Bona, or the Orlando Robinson Castleton duo.
I'm good with Bona.
Raptors.
I'm good double centering Bona here because I agree with you. I think they're just going to do that thing. All right. Go.
I mean,
Castle.
Desmond Bain.
Yeah, go Bain.
We're not gonna. We can't. You
can't. He's shooting guard only.
You have to move Castle.
Okay. Assuming we even want to do Castle, but there's a 51 forward. Just like Neesmith here. Castle, Hoarder, Levert, Bazula. We wanted Giddy though. How do we make that work?
You don't play Jokic.
You can't play Jokic. Yeah. Oh well.
I mean, double spend down center is gonna. This is gonna be the most popular double spend. One of like, no one's gonna. I honestly, I think people will play Jokic, but it's gonna be a way low ownership compared to what it normally is.
Because more people would go to Luka here, I would imagine, right?
Correct. I think so as well. Yeah, I think so as well. I'd almost guarantee it.
Small forward. 4,100 forward. It's like Justin Edwards, probably. Kessler Edwards.
Oh, God. I mean,
Whitmore.
Vince Williams, but I don't know if Vince Williams plays second leg of a back-to-back. That would be the Jamison Battles, 33. He's been playing minutes.
We got rid of 2045. You mentioned, let's see. Really not like.
Can you move Herder to small forward? Is he an option at small forward? And then move Bain to shooting guard. And then we could play Lonnie Walker there.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Walker, probably was 36. You just run out of so much value, you just forget. Then you go back to Levert. There you go. All right. So Doncic, Bain, Horder, Bazulis, Bona, Walker, Levert, and Giddey. We want to do something like that there.
Yeah. All yeah, right. If you're not playing, this is the one Jokic lineup, one no Jokic lineup.
All right. And we'll be doing it all again, 5 o'clock Eastern time. So make sure you tune in there. We'll have the latest updates. Grande will have your playbook. Any questions, get in the Discord. Follow us on Twitter. Get that 7-day free trial. Grande and I will be back later. We'll talk to you then.